Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. And before we get to our guest today, we have a big shout out for Living Sisu. Living Sisu is a platform and app that wants to give you all the tools to have success in your sport. Their main objective is to activate your lifestyle. So it's for active people. Enjoy discounts at companies like BioSteel, 30% off, Body Logics, the Goalie Guild, all his books are discounted. Roan, Lululemon for men, 20% off. Online stretching programs with Eccentrics, 1 full month free. They got super silent massage guns, 20% off those. And it's a great quality. It's way less expensive than a Theragun, and it's great quality. So there's so many more discounts that you guys will need to just become a member to see. So they want to provide you with anything you need for success. So come join the community. I'm a part of it. A bunch of other athletes are a part of it. So it's free to join. It takes 20 seconds to get exclusive offers to your sport, and it's definitely worth it. So do us a huge favor and go sign up for Living Sisu's membership. It's free, takes 20 seconds. So go do it, and we'll see you there. Living Sisu is a great company. We know one of the co-founders, Zach Fricali. He's a great guy. He's the co-founder. He does a lot of live streams on Instagram at Living Sisu, with a bunch of elite athletes, and you learn a lot from like the athletes' determination, their resiliency, everything to what made them become successful. So it's been a great experience so far. So go on. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. So go sign up. Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and today's episode we are joined by a very special guest, current professional hockey goaltender Dylan Ferguson. Dylan just finished his third official season of professional hockey, playing for the Henderson Silver Knights in the American Hockey League, as well as getting some time in the NHL with the Vegas Golden Knights. In 2021, Dylan was a Kelly Cup champion with the Fort Wayne Komets of the ECHL. He has also spent time with the Chicago Wolves in the AHL, as well as playing in one game in the NHL with the Vegas Golden Knights. Fergie played his junior hockey days in the WHL, the Western Hockey League, with the Kamloops Blazers prior to turning pro. So it's been an exciting time to get you on, Dylan. So welcome to the show, Dylan Ferguson.
Good to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. It's great to have you on. Like, especially like I know the last year has been a bit busy, but it's good to get you on. And like, so to start things off, like how have you been? Like, I know you're in the Eli Wilson goaltending school right now. So how's everything over there in Edmonton?
Yeah, everything's been going pretty good. It's been an interesting summer. I got a bit of a curveball thrown at me there. Not re-signing with Vegas, but at the end of the day, that's out of my control and only moving forward from here. So overall, I'm good, man.
Yeah, that's at least good that you're taking like the positives in that situation, because like you got thrown a curveball, and like sometimes it's just like like you get down on yourself, but you're taking that opportunity to better yourself and like make sure you have like another opportunity coming up. So like what has it been like in Edmonton these last couple weeks? Like you've been, like we were talking about before the show, you're there for 2 weeks. Like how's everything with the Eli Wilson goalie school?
It's been great. I've been working with Eli for a few years now. He's definitely one of, if not the best in the business for goaltending schools. And he works with guys like Carey Price, and he's a very knowledgeable guy. And really grateful that he brought me back for a second week here. And it's great for any goalie of all ages. He really takes the time to go over the little details. And it's a good spot to be if you want to better yourself as a goalie, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So like what have you been learning these past 2 weeks, especially since like you're learning like the small details, like you said, and just like that's a huge part of goaltending, is like the smaller details, which really like helps develop your game.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like the ice I'm on is, the ages range from, 23, 24, like myself, all the way down to like 13, 14 years old. So at the end of the day, it's what you put into the game. Eli's going to give you everything you need. And it's just the commitment and effort and the small little things that you put into it.
Yeah. So like what has been like your training routine, like outside of like Eli Wilson goalie school, and like when you're at home, like in BC, like what are you doing on the ice? And then when you're off the ice, like what are you doing there to help better your training?
Yeah, I took a bit off the ice. I've only skated a couple times back home. Just broke my wrist at the end of the year last year, which was tough. So um, coming back from that, I just wanted to focus on strengthening that. So I was in the gym with a trainer in Vancouver 5 times a week. Not specifically for my wrist, but naturally working out and that kind of stuff will help with that. And I think that was my main focus, was to just make sure my body is number one and it's ready to go for the ice. And since I've been doing that, I've been feeling really good.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear, especially like coming back from an injury. Like you don't know how long it's going to take, and you just gotta do whatever you can to rehab that and just to make yourself feel more confident just coming back. Because like I know like confidence could be a huge factor, like especially coming off an injury. So like just like being able to rehab that and like feel good on the ice, like that's huge.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think adversity is gonna come no matter what. I felt like last year I had a little too much of it. Maybe that was out of my control, but at the end of the day, it's what you do with it. It's classic saying, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a guy that always kind of falls up. So that's what I'm going to do here, and just keep moving forward.
Yeah, and like we talk about like or like worrying about the things that you can control, and like there's a lot of uncontrollables. Like how do you go with dealing like controlling what you can control versus like getting like that curveball thrown at you where you're not re-signing with Vegas and just like you can't control that. So like how do you like adjust between the two of what you can control and the uncontrollables as well?
I think the biggest thing is just staying in the moment. You got to hold the picture that you see of yourself, and hopefully it's a good one, and just keep that clear picture, and that's what you're working towards. There's going to be hurdles along the way, and I feel like I've definitely learned that staying in the moment and just taking a day at a time, and how can I get better today, and focusing on that's essential.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that mindset, because like that also like because you can't control everything, so like you can only like focus on what you can control, and like being in the moment, like that's gonna like help you like really like stay focused on what you're doing is like what you can control, and like it's just not gonna go the opposite way, which you can't control.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. Spot on.
Yeah, so I wanna talk about like your youth days a little bit here. So you grew up in Lansville, BC. So like what was hockey like growing up in BC? It's obviously it's in Canada, so it's like the hockey hotbed. And like so like what got you into goaltending, and like how old were you when you first started skating?
It's a pretty good story, actually. So I was always like the kind of kid that wanted to play everything when I was younger. I actually started as a player, which I was decent at. I was a little buzzer out there, and I remember just like one day I had the opportunity to. Actually, this goes back before that. I was watching a Vancouver Canucks game on the TV with my dad, and sitting in front of the fireplace, and I remember seeing Dan Kluche playing for the Canucks, and I thought it was pretty cool to be the goalie. And ever since that day, my dad we'd watch the games, and he'd rip socks at me, and I stood in front of the fireplace and try to stop them from going by. And that's kind of where I think the passion came from. And I got the chance to play in a little they call them Timbits here, like Tim Hortons. It's like
Yeah.
just minor hockey. You're like 8, 9 years old, and I got to throw on the pads, and I just really enjoyed it. And that's kind of where everything started. And I was grateful enough that my dad could help me out and get me into schools, and or lucky enough, I guess. And I felt that if he's going to help me, I got to do everything I can to help myself and try to make it worth it. Right. So that's
Yeah.
where everything kind of started. And there's a lot of kids, and I think you just, at that age, you just have to work hard, but most importantly, have a lot of fun.
Yeah, and like that, just having a lot of fun like at that age, like that's all that really matters. Like, do you remember your first game as like a goalie, and like do you remember like everything? Like I know like guys share stories where they got either lit up like 15 rip, or like they get a shutout their first game.
I remember the day, and that's interesting. It's so long ago. I was actually wearing like different handed gloves. Some like, I don't even know if they're like Louisville made for whatever. I'm thinking like Louisville hockey gloves,
Yeah.
and they were the wrong hands. And that's how I started. And I just remember I really enjoyed it, and then figured out I had to switch, but I couldn't tell you what the score was. I just remember I had a really good time.
Yeah, and like that's still awesome that you just remember that moment, especially like the day. Like a lot of people don't remember the day, but like that's pretty cool that you have that like that data that sticks out to you.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. This is a nice little reminder for sure. I definitely don't think of that day every day, but it's cool that I can think back and see that.
Yeah, absolutely. But then you go on from Timbits to where you go play U15, U18 from 2012 to 2015, where you played in the Notre Dame Hounds and the Notre Dame Argos organization, where you played U15 and U18. So, like, what was it like to go through the Notre Dame organization and just grow up in that kind of environment?
It was really cool. Also, really grateful that my dad could make that happen for me. And I remember being 13 and walking in Victoria, and I had a choice between Burnaby Winter Club, which is in Vancouver, or Notre Dame. And for whatever reason, my 13-year-old self wanted to go to Wilcox, Saskatchewan, in a town of 300 people. And it's more than just hockey out there. You're living out there, you're leaving home at the age of 13, which the first year was definitely tough. And but it's a great opportunity. There's a lot of legends that have come out of that school. And I feel like that definitely helped me grow up and just pretty quick. And you're essentially living like a college student at the age of 13, right? So
Yeah.
go to school every day, do college activities, and just it was a really cool lifestyle. And yeah, it's just thinking back on it, I'm really grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah, that's awesome. And just like you go throughout that organization, you develops like what were some of like your favorite times throughout like growing up over in Notre Dame and just being able to like just develop and like experience the experiences you've had. And like I'm sure there's a bunch of like good stories and moments that come out of that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think when winter came, I didn't really know what to expect. I remember, excuse me, one night it was like minus, you're in Fahrenheit, but 50 degrees Celsius, which is just absurd. And
Yeah.
like we had a red and white night that night, which is when everyone from the dorms goes over to the rink to watch the junior A team. And we're walking over there in cut off shirts and shorts and minus 50-degree weather, just almost borderline hypothermia. And just going over and having a great time. And I think that's something that really sticks with me. Obviously, just having those, there used to be like 4 different teams, and you'd be sectioned out the whole school into like 4 different I guess clubs. And there's like gunners, and I was a gunner, so we'd have like events like that, and we'd all kind of compete. And other than that, on the hockey side, I think the first year in Bantam, I walked on and made the Bantam AAA team. And we went and we were playing in the midget AA league. So we were, I don't know how old I would have been, I guess 13, 14, playing against like 17, 18-year-olds in the midget league. And we ended up winning the league. And that was something I remember. And it was a pretty special moment for sure. And just to be there in such a, historic and respected place for hockey and just for sports really worldwide
Yeah.
is something that's really cool as well.
Yeah, and like that's awesome. Like the stories that you think of, like when you do think about those, is just like wow, like and like it brings you back to like those moments and everything. And then but like throughout like all those good times, there's also some like hard times, like you said, with going away from home at 13. So like, how did you have to adjust and like just adjust and like that transition from not being at home and being in a totally new area?
Oh, it was tough for sure. People asked me how my time was there, and I said year 2 and 3 was a lot better. So, hockey, probably year 1 was obviously we won the championship that year, but I think just, anyone leaving home at 13, I was definitely homesick for the first half of the year for sure. It's a big adjustment, and it makes you grow up pretty quick. And luckily you're surrounded by really good people and people that understand what you're going through. And they definitely help you and be there for you. So it's, I'm thankful for that. And yeah.
Yeah, as much as like you don't really want to leave home and like get like homesick and all that, but like you do mature as a person and like you gain like a lot of different life lessons, and you just mature as a player and an athlete when you're just away from home and just being on your own a little bit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, so you also, when you were in Notre Dame, you played for the U15 and the U18 team. So you're 15 playing for a team that was on with 18-year-olds. Like, what was that adjustment going up a few levels, especially like when they're older, stronger, faster, and just having to adjust to that new type of game?
Yeah, so the U15 was the Bantam team, and that was the year that we won the championship. And it was, for me, it wasn't too bad. I'm a goalie, right? So I'm not
Yeah.
getting hit into the boards or anything by guys 4 years older than me. But I think we had a pretty stacked team. Like I think 14 of us got drafted to drafted to the CHL on that team. So it was quite the team. And guys like Dylan Dubé was there. He's on Calgary now, and it was a lot of fun, and we just all had this belief, right? And we almost found it funny that we were in the midget AA league playing these guys and winning a lot of hockey games, and it was a good feeling for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like you just go on to think about it, and you're like, and like whenever you're playing against like older players, like even like as a goalie, like you want to stop them because they're older than you, and you get like that little more fierce like competition, that because they're older than you, so you want to stop the puck. And like just when you go on that run where you go on to win the championship, like it just like you're up for the task, and that's what you got to do.
Yeah, 100%. I think at the end of the day, even now, my job's to stop the puck, no matter how fast or who's shooting it, right? So
Yeah.
that's the cool part about that, and that's just what I got to focus on.
Yeah, so like what was it like winning that championship, especially since like it was like one of your first championships, and just learn like playoff hockey is different, and like just going on a championship run, no matter what the league is, like it's a different breed.
It is for sure. It's just as tough mentally as it is physically, and the people that can just really stay in the moment and hold the vision of success is, I think, essential, and they can really move mountains.
Yeah, absolutely. So then you go on to junior hockey, where you get a shot in the Western Hockey League for the Kamloops Blazers. So like, what was the process like to get a shot in Kamloops and just be drafted over there?
Yeah, so I got cut as a 16-year-old. That was the year I went back to Notre Dame for the first year, or the last year, sorry, my third year there. After that, I made the team as a 17-year-old with goalie partner Connor Ingram, who's with Nashville now. And he, is a really fun guy to watch. You could tell is just his commitment to the net and to stopping the puck. And I don't know how much he knew it, but he was a bit of a motivation for me, watching him. And I didn't get to play a lot my first year. Obviously, he had a great year. And so working with Dan De Palma, who's just a great goalie coach and even a better guy, which is saying a lot, because he's a heck of a goalie coach. And I think he believed in me pretty early on, which was really important, and I appreciate that a lot. And it was every day for me. Anytime I got on the ice in a practice, I had to take it like a game, because I didn't know when I was going to get my opportunity, but I knew it was going to come. And so I only started about 11 games my first year in the WHL. And the next year, I knew pretty early that Connor was going to get some notice from the World Juniors. And in December, he did. He went to World Junior Camp, and it was my time. And I ended up getting WHL goalie of the month that month, and really put my name on the radar, and played a lot of games and not a lot of days, and it just got on a run and kept it going. And after that, I played a few games, and just I feel like that was where things started to click for me.
Yeah, and like you said, like that's where, and like you're gonna face adversity no matter what level you play on. You face that adversity. You got cut at 16, Connor Ingram was rolling throughout, like when you were playing your first year, and then you get that opportunity when he goes to World Juniors and you're able to put up extremely good numbers. Like, what was it? It's like, what did you have to do from that time to get cut to the following year when you're able to make the roster, and just like what adjustments did you have to make to your game, and especially like it could be like mindset as well.
Yeah, I think just, if you have the right mindset and you focus on little details, your game just naturally gets better. And they say hockey is, or goaltending is 90% mental, and I'm on board with that. You can have all the skill, you can have the size, but if you don't have the mindset, you're not gonna help yourself out for sure. And I think that was the biggest thing for me, is just accepting that this is what I have to do to get where I want to go, and what can I do to make the most of that, so when my time comes, I'm ready for it.
Yeah. So like, what did you have to do? Like, did you like change like your off ice or a routine like during the off season to help yourself like make the roster, or did you just go in with like a whole different mindset and just put the pedal to the gas, or pedal to the metal pretty much?
Yeah, I think anytime you get cut from a team, you want to show them that you have more. So I think I've always been a guy that if something doesn't go my way, it just fuels me more. And I don't think I really made any like huge drastic changes. I think I just needed another year to, grow up. I was obviously in the middle of growth spurt. So I think when I got drafted, I was like 5'8", 5'9", and when I started there, I was around 6 feet. So, and then I grew another 2 inches in junior. So, um, like I said, I just, when I made the team, I understood that Connor was the guy, and I had to take every practice as a game, which was a lot of fun both ways, and it created a fun competition between us.
Yeah, and like it also like helps become a better teammate, because you, even though you want the net, but like you knew going in that he was going to be the guy, and you just want to support him any way you can, and then during practice, like you're giving him the best competition you can, because that is technically your game is the practice. So you just got to do anything you can to help him and like help yourself, and try to get notice from the coach, and just try to push Connor and your other teammates even more.
100% spot on.
Yeah, so then you do get that shot after Connor goes to World Juniors. So like, what was that first experience of being in the WHL and just getting to be and just winning the WHL goaltender of the month, and just being able to just prove yourself a little bit?
I remember I had an interview. Someone came and asked me if I was ready, and like right away I was like, yeah, like I feel ready, and like this is my time. And that was my answer. And I believed it, because when you put the work into something that is coming, and you can say that, and that you believe it because you put the work into it, it's a good feeling. So I was comfortable and confident with my game going into the long stretch I knew I had before Christmas, and um, really just took it a day at a time, and stayed humble, and just went in there and played, and with a winning mentality as well.
Yeah, and like I think like being humble there is huge, because you don't want to be like over like the line and just be like cocky and all that, but you also want to have like that confidence where you know what you're doing, you trust what you're doing, like trusting your training is a huge one as well, and just not just not to like ruin like any pass that you carved with other people throughout hockey, because hockey is such a small circle when you think of it. So like, just to be humble and just trust your training, like I think that's a huge part of what success is as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. It was really essential for me.
Yeah, so then you go into the following year where you get 31 games your second year, where you went 16, 10 and 2. So like, what was that second year like, and just being able to develop a little more after that first year, and just having a little more way with being the starter?
That was the year that that Connor went to World Juniors, because I got to play a bunch of games, and then So I can't remember how many games I played when he was away, but it was quite a few. And then I obviously got some opportunities up until playoffs. So I just, after the stint and Connor came back, I just kind of knew that he was still the guy. Like, he was that respect was there. And so just, still taking my practices like the games, and I knew I'd have some more games to deal with. So just being ready for those.
Yeah, but then your third year is where you got a big chunk of time where you played 59 games. Like, how important was it to keep the body healthy and loose, especially when you're playing 59 games in a season, and just being the guy and just having because goaltending is such a wear and tear on your body, so it's good to get that recovery in.
Yeah, 100%. That was also the year I got called up by Vegas. So I mean, I missed 11 games when in junior, when I was up in Vegas, and still played 59 to 72. So it was a lot of hockey. I was playing 3-3s at some weekends, and I had a great coach in Don Hay, who just, you're getting back in there, and didn't really give you a choice, which I like. And it forces you to not only grow up as a person, but a player. And when you're playing that many hockey games, it's essential to obviously have a good relationship with your physical trainer, and be honest with them about, this is sore, can we work on this so I'm ready for tomorrow? And just really being honest with yourself, and taking care of your body, eating healthy, making sure you're staying hydrated. And that was huge for me in that year. I remember actually when I got back from Vegas, when they sent me back, I flew on a plane at 2 p.m. to Kamloops from Vegas, and we had a game that night. Don called me right before my flight and goes, "You're playing tonight." So I remember I was like, "What?" Like, you're serious? And he was like, "Yeah." Is that a problem? I'm like, "No, I'll be there." So I called my goalie coach, and I'm like, Don just called me and told me I'm playing tonight. He goes, "How do you feel about it?" I go, "Well, I mean, I'm on a plane right now." And he's like, "Oh, are you good?" I was like, "Yeah, let's go." And I played both games that weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and we won both. It was a lot of fun. And that was just the way that year was. And it felt great to be the guy.
How are those legs feeling after getting off the plane and having to start that night?
Oh, I mean, I had a lot of work with Vegas. Like, I had a lot of hard work. So I was probably, top 3 times best shape of my life. And just, I knew that it was going to be a little different shot wise. So I just went in there and trusted myself. I think we won like 3-2 or something. So I remember that's situation pretty well.
Yeah, for sure. So it's like that, like one of the biggest things you learned throughout that year is like how important like recovery and like making sure that your body's good, especially when you're playing that much, and then you go on to play in Vegas and just get that experience as well.
Yeah, it was I'm only 23, and I feel like I've written a few chapters of my book already here, but I don't want to stop. And I've been very lucky to go through these situations at a young age, and just keep learning, I think. And as a pro now, I still feel like I'm learning every day. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Especially that's great to hear that you just keep going, like you're still motivated and everything, just keep going. And like you've throughout that year, you get your first professional game in where you came in with a crazy like scenario where you're like the number 5 goalie on the season in Vegas, and literally the first month and a half, 2 months of the season. So take us through like that whole experience with Vegas and the craziness that evolved from that.
oh, it's still surreal. I had just finished a game in Kamloops against Tri-Cities. And I remember me and a few of the guys went to Boston Pizza to just have some wings after the game and have a little food, and just watch the Vegas game was on. I was watching the game at Boston Pizza, and I remember Oscar Dansk was in the net, and he went down. Or it might have been, no, it was Oscar Dansk. And I one of the boys said, "Yeah, Oscar just got hurt. What does that mean for you?" And not 10 seconds later, my phone rang, and it was the GM at the time of Vegas, and um, I caught a red eye that night. I bought all the wings for everyone, so like I was like, okay, I'm going. I'm buying all you guys stuff. So I paid that bill and called my billet dad at like 11 o'clock, or what time was it? Would have been a bit earlier, like 8 o'clock probably. And I was like, hey, like this is happening. He didn't believe me. And anyway, I had to pack all my stuff, and I went, and I was on a midnight flight from Kamloops to Toronto to New York. And I got to New York at I think it was like 7 a.m. Got to the hotel, had breakfast with the guys, and that night I was on the ice with Henrik Lundqvist. So it was everything happened really quick. And I don't think that's something you can ever really prepare for as a 19-year-old kid, but I just really tried to soak in everything and obviously work my tail off. And it was really cool. I got Maxime Lagacé, who's played in the AHL last year, had a good year, was my goalie partner, and was a great guy. We had a really good dynamic going, and so that was great as well. And it's obviously something that's going to stick with me and just motivates me every day to get back to the NHL. That's where I want to be and where I see myself. And so yeah.
Yeah, that's a crazy story, especially going from WHL to the NHL in what, 7 hours, and just being there, and then more craziness happens. Lagacé gets injured, and you end up going into the net. So like, what were those first like couple seconds, couple minutes like when you do get in the net and you're just like, I'm on NHL ice, and like I'm actually in a NHL regular season game?
Yeah, I didn't believe it really at first. I know I saw him went down. It was like 7-2, and he had some back spasms, and which is honestly makes sense. The guy had been playing so much hockey, and it was I just like I didn't even know what to think, so I just tried not to think at all. And I just started. I remember the trainer said, "You got to get ready here. Like you got to warm up." So I'm like in the back tunnel, like closing my eyes, like visualizing, like going out there and like just doing the best I can. And so I'm sitting there, and Max decided to stay in, and then they gave up another goal, and the head coach looked at me and goes, "Fergy, you're in." And I was like, "Here we go." And it was a pretty special moment. I think I just kind of not blacked out, but just kind of full of excitement and just nerves, and but but at the end of the day, I just wanted to go have fun, and got out there and made a save or two, got scored on the power play, on a pretty nice play. But it was just, I think that experience of just being on that ice and like feeling that atmosphere and like a pretty much sold out Edmonton Rogers Arena there, and it was really special. And like I said before, it just motivates me to get back to a position like that.
Yeah, and like I feel like once you make that first save, like all the jitters and everything are out, and you're just like, it's just another hockey game, and I'm just gonna go in there and just do whatever I can to shut the door as much as I can, just take in all the experiences that I've experienced right now.
Yeah, for sure. I remember like Patty Maroon came out of the corner, went backhand. I kind of like stopped it with my shoulder, and the guy just ran me over. And then I stopped McDavid with my pad once, and then he tapped it in. But the ref waved it off for goalie interference because I got trucked. Like he was I was 19, and he's a pretty big man, right? So
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun, and I almost got to play in Vancouver, but Max was ready to go, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, so you spend a couple weeks in Vegas while everyone else gets healthy, and like, so what do you learn from those, from like just being at the NHL and just taking practice every day and just realizing like how much like work and like everything it is, and just how much fine tuning like the game is, and how simple a lot of guys make it to be?
Oh, I really remember Marc Andre, obviously. Flower, he was just such a great guy. I remember, I'll tell you a little story here. There was a team dinner. I can't remember where we were. But he was there, just, sitting, obviously being around the team. He couldn't play at the time, but team dinner, and I was sitting at a table with like William Carlson, a couple of those guys, and Flower comes over. He's talking to Carly, and everyone just starts like banging their glass and just staring at me, and I like have no idea what's going on, and someone screams like, check your shoe, and there's just this massive glob of like horseradish on my shoe that
Oh,
Flower put on there, and I had to like stand up and show everyone, and everyone's clapping, and it was a just, they treated me really well, which I really appreciate from those guys. And that's the thing about the NHL is everyone's just so, they love the game so much, and they work so hard at their craft, and which allows it, and they have a lot of fun too, like, and that's important, and it's little things like that. And yeah, it was just I learned so much in such a short time being there, and I'm really grateful for that.
yeah, those are awesome experiences to have. And like Flower just seems like that funny guy that's just trying to be the jokester all the time. Well, and like we all know his all everything he's won and everything, but like he just seems like he just has so much fun just being around the boys and just having like a good time playing the game. So like it's obviously pretty contagious when that's happening, and you're the guy that's getting the joke played on you as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. It was really nice, and had a really good time with that team at that time, and that's something I'll be grateful for forever.
Yeah, so then you get sent back down to the dub. So like what was that adjustment like to go? Like I know you won your two games that you came back from. So like what was the adjustment like, especially like when you're facing the different kinds of shots going from like NHL shots to the WHL shots?
I think just trusting the game and my improvement that I had, just being with Vegas for the 3-4 weeks I was there, and that was really it. At the end of the day, I just kind of told myself, I know I can play in this league, and what I've gained from Vegas can't hurt me at all. So just, trust what I've learned and just go out there and play.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's awesome that you learned that, because like when you do get like those like slower, or I shouldn't say slower, but like when you do get like those different shots, like I know it could fool you as a goalie. Like I'm the same way. Like if I go down a couple levels, like the shots are completely different. Like but it's at least good that you like trusted what you did and just learned from Vegas to help bring back like that middle ground.
100%.
So then you go into your final year in Kamloops where you play 49 games and you guys go in the playoffs too. So like what was that last year, especially like going into the playoffs for the first time in your WHL career?
It was good. I got to play with Dylan Garand, who was 16 at that time, and a great goalie then. He's obviously a great goalie now, just won CHL goalie of the year. He's a good friend too. And it was a very similar year other than being called up to the NHL, but
Yeah.
it was it's the same kind of mentality, just keep working hard and be ready. I unfortunately had a not a great groin injury at the end of the year, right before playoffs. And I remember watching, there was like a deciding game that Garand played and played really well against Kelowna. One game to see who goes to playoffs, and we won that game at home, a sold out crowd. And there's a picture on my Instagram of me just like hugging them, and I'm in my suit, and that's a pretty special picture for me. And so I got the opportunity to play in playoffs a bit. I think the break kind of set me back a little bit. I just wasn't feeling like myself in there, and so we didn't end up winning that series, and it's a tough way to go out in my last year, but I was just grateful for everything the city of Kamloops had done for me, and the fans have always been great, and I got a lot of lifetime friends there, and great memories. So it's Kamloops has a special place in my heart for sure.
Yeah, and like that's also where like you bring back to like going back to like being a good teammate and just everything, like your goalie partners in the deciding game of like if you guys make it to the playoffs or not, and you guys get the win, like that, like even though you're hurt, but you're just supporting him and cheering him on because like you just want him to be better and him to get that chance to shine a little bit and just get the team into the playoffs.
Absolutely. Yeah. And he's, he was really good at 16 and he's really good now. And, I had faith in him and so did everyone else and we pulled it off. So it was a pretty special moment.
Yeah, absolutely. But then in 2017, you were drafted to the NHL by the Dallas Stars in the 7th round, 194 overall. So like, where were you when you got drafted? And, like the emotions going around being drafted to the NHL.
I was at home. At the time, I was ranked to go like 64th overall. So it got tough. I was just a kid still learning. I knew nothing about like the business side of the game or anything like that, right? And I remember just sitting at home watching it with my dad, and it was getting frustrating. And I was just pretty upset, because it was what it was, and I had got a call from a team, inviting me to their camp before the draft was even over. So I got that call and I was kind of like, well, there's still 3 rounds left. And the 7th round came, and obviously there aren't many picks after 194. So I literally had started to just like walk out the door and just like process what was going on. And I heard my dad like scream my name, and it popped up on the bottom of the screen, my name. And it was a very special moment between me and him for sure. And, that was the start of all of it. And then a day later, I was like 50 hours later or something, I'd got a call. It's a pretty good story too. I was in a fishing shop with a couple of my buddies planning on going on a fishing trip, just like 2 days before camp, and camp had started a week. It was a week away from when I was doing my fishing trip with the guys. And I'd got a call when I was in there from a number I'd never seen before. And so they answered. I said, hello. And oh, Dylan, this is Jim Nell with the Dallas Stars. And I didn't believe it was him. Only because, he had told me that I had been traded to the Vegas Golden Knights, and he wanted to just kind of say welcome but goodbye. And it was interesting because like I had been talking to the guys, and Vegas had showed interest at the time, and everything happened really quick. So I kind of didn't believe that it was him, and we had a pretty good laugh about that. But fishing trip didn't happen. That next morning I was on a plane to Vegas. I had missed the first day of camp because theirs was a week prior to Dallas's. And I signed out of camp, and it was I just went there and worked hard, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's a great story. And like you're probably like thinking, thank goodness I missed like half of the first day because I don't have to do a lot of the fitness tests. So did you avoid like a lot of the fitness tests for that first day?
Yeah, probably. I can't remember if they even did it, but no, I remember it. We were in like this tiny little rink because they hadn't had anything set up yet, and it was like 40 something degrees Celsius, so like over 100 outside. And we had to warm up outside, and it was just brutal. And I just remember just like embracing being there, and when I got on the ice, just play hard, and it worked out for me. So yeah.
Yeah, and like you're probably just sweating buckets out in the desert over there, and just you're probably losing 15 pounds before you even get on the ice, and you're losing some more pounds after.
Yeah, no, it was after day one I was there, I kind of just like kind of warmed up outside and then did a little more in the rink, and just kind of figured out the best way to try to give myself a chance for success.
Yeah, absolutely. So then you begin your quest to play professional hockey, where you'd spend the year in the ECHL with the Fort Wayne Komets, as well as getting called up to the AHL Chicago Wolves. So what was it like to get your foot in the door of pro hockey and have that be in a Fort Wayne, which is a hockey history over there in Fort Wayne?
Yeah, honestly, my first year, I felt like I was in not over my head, but I feel like I had a lot to learn. I think as a player in person, I made not mistakes, but not the best choices when it came to my career and where I wanted to go. And, um, that was something that I had to learn. Obviously, in a way, I felt like I feel like I let ego get the best of me a little bit, and go up to the AHL and play really well for them, and to go back there. And then I actually had dealt with vertigo that year in Fort Wayne, which was really tough and lasted a long time. No one could really figure out what was going on, and then COVID came, so that year was pretty hectic. And I just it wasn't a good year for me. There's no way around it, and it was that was just another time where I was like, it's time to put nose to the grindstone and just go work. I believed in myself, and I knew I had some growing up to do, and just tried to do that, and I felt like I really did. And you know to have a year like that for me, and it's kind of selfish, but to just like keep that motivation. And I was pretty proud of myself, I guess you could say. And just to go back, I started in Henderson for the start of the year the next year. And obviously I know you're going to touch on this, but I just turned a page and found my game.
Yeah, and so like you go into your first year and you like face like all this adversity with like everything that happens. Like what are some like tips to like when you do face that adversity and like you face highs and lows of the season, like just not let yourself get too high or too low, and just be able to just find that middle ground, especially since you've gone this is you're gonna be your fourth year of professional hockey.
Oh, it's a good question. I think just try to learn more about yourself as a person and as a player. I think when you're a kid, you can just go out there and just play and not have to worry about
Yeah.
the narrative, or what I guess now you don't really have to worry about what people are thinking, but what people are thinking. And um I think just holding that belief in yourself, which I didn't really have in year one, and that I knew that wasn't me. So just as well as being honest with yourself.
Yeah, that's a great tip, and a lot of people can learn from that because like everyone has like could be on that high end or that low end. You just gotta find like that middle ground to keep yourself humble, like you said earlier, and just to be able to just keep going without like having your ego be too high or too low.
100%. It's going back to Dan De Palma, and um one thing he said to me that's going to stick for me probably my whole career is you got to stay even.
Yeah.
You look at even guys like Carey Price, there's a thing of him that says, I feel like I can stop every puck, and I wish I could. And that's just the way goaltending is, right? So
Yeah, so then you earned your first AHL call up to the Wolves. Like, what was that process like to get to Chicago and just have that call for your first American League call up?
yeah, that was in the first year. So I got up there and I felt really good and was playing really good. To get that first win was a really cool opportunity, and something I'm definitely grateful for.
Yeah, and like it came in the shootout too. I think it was a 2-1 because I remember that game, and you were pretty fired up after that win.
For sure I was. It was my first AHL game in a place like the Chicago Wolves. It was a pretty special moment for me, and my buddy Garrett Sparks was there with me, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then the following year, you turn the page where you play the season with Fort Wayne as well as Henderson in the AHL. You played in 11 games with the Fort Wayne Komets. So like, what was that second year of professional hockey like, especially since you like are like used to the professional game and like the business side of things, and like the first year is the hardest year of professional hockey, and then you come in your second year and you're like a little more comfortable.
Yeah, I felt like that was when I went home and just kind of changed and just trained hard. And I went up to Henderson and played my first game against Bakersfield and got a shutout, and was feeling really good. And they had brought me in, I can't remember how long, a couple months. I was up there maybe a month, and they had told me I'm going to go down to Fort Wayne to get some games in, and that I'd probably be back. And I went down to Fort Wayne, played 11 games, feeling really good. Unfortunately, in practice, I broke my thumb, so that kept me out for a few weeks, and I stayed in Fort Wayne. It was going to go on the playoff role with them, which I got back in time and was lucky to get a few games in before playoffs got going, and was feeling good going into them. And that was probably one of the most exciting times of my career, to be honest. It's just the grind and just the team coming together so strong in those playoffs. And I think I played 13 games in like 15 or 16 nights. So it was with travel on a bus, right? So, just mentally, physically, just taking care of my body, making sure I'm like not just laying in bed all day, just getting myself out and like walking around, clearing my head, because the next day is the biggest game of the year, right? So and it all happened fast, and then before I knew it, we were in game 4 at home against SoCal with a 2-1 on the scoreboard with 1.3 seconds left and a face off to my left. So winning that championship really meant a lot to me, and it was something that I completely devoted myself to, and at the time. And it goes back to just being in the moment. It doesn't matter where I am or what I'm doing. This is where I am right now, and that was just my mindset. And yeah.
Yeah, so like, what were those emotions when the clock hit 0 after that scramble in front of the net with 1.3 seconds and you're Kelly Cup champions?
Yeah, I got chills just me saying that. It's it was really special. There was so much heart and hard work, and everyone's all wrapped up. Everyone's going through something, and I had my groin wrapped up that game. Just I don't know if I could have done one more, and just the mental will just to win that team had was something really special, and it was all around the room. And there was never a doubt in our mind that we were going to lose a game. I think the first series went to game 5 as best of 5 in overtime. And once we got through that first series, we were like, I think we're going to win this, and we just kept going from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, playoff hockey is a different breed, like we said earlier, especially like in professional hockey in the ECHL. And like you said, like everyone has a lot of heart. Everyone wanted to win. So like, how do you go around like just physically and just because you played pretty much every game, you played 18, 19 games, whatever it was, and just to like have your body like be like your groins are bothering you at the end of the playoffs, just to like have that heart to just stay and just keep going until you guys finally come up Kelly Cup champions.
I just, I found a routine that works for me. I was doing yoga every single night, just making sure my body wasn't, getting super tight, and I'd get in there and pull something, and that would be it. And that's been huge for me. Really in my career was, it's like sounds simple, but really finding yoga and just like committing to it every night of 40 minutes of stretching, which also helps you mentally just like clear your head. And that was something for me that, I really think got me through those playoffs physically and somewhat mentally.
Yeah, yoga is a very good like practice to do, especially like to clear the mind. Like you wouldn't think that it would clear the mind, but like once you like I do it like every other day, and like it's just so much, you feel so much better, and like physically and mentally you feel so much better, and it's just like wow, like, and you just don't even know how to explain it because it's just like a simple practice, but it's so effective.
100%.
So then you go into this past year where you played in 13 games with the Henderson Silver Knights. So what was it like to take that big step forward in your career and be in the AHL for a season, as well as getting a stint in the NHL again a little bit?
Yeah, it was great. I feel like I've had I started the year with a shutout, and was playing well, playing really well at the start of the year. And I remember being in Stockton, and I got ran over, and that was a concussion. from there, things just kind of started to snowball for me, to be honest. And got the concussion, came back for a week, got COVID, and COVID hit me like a truck. I lost my taste and smell for a month and a half. And it took me almost a month to get back into game shape. So it was, I'm lucky it wasn't worse, obviously, but that was a tough one for me. And just coming back from that was tough. Other guys get opportunities, and then I had something to deal with my station tubes that I had to get done, and it just seemed like things were snowballing, and I was doing the best I can, being a good teammate, being a good pro, and sometimes just some things aren't meant to be, right. And I get back from the ear thing, and I'm playing well. The last game I played for Henderson was in Iowa, and we won 4-1, and I made like 37 saves, and 2 days later I broke my wrist. So things happen like that, and just while I'm here, I'm grateful for everything the Vegas Golden Knights have done for me. It's been great, and I've learned so much.
Yeah, and like it just seems like you face a lot of adversity, but you keep fighting, you keep overcoming all the adversity, and just keep going over all the obstacles that come your way, and continue to stay motivated. So like that's awesome to see, especially like when things aren't going right, and like you would be like down, and but like just to come over and overcome those things is like another incredible feat, especially like going into like the mindset part of the game with P. Fry, your goalie mindset coach. Like I'm sure he has a big like hand on like your mindset and all that, and just to help you feel better about like everything that you've gone through.
Yeah, no, 100%. And don't get me wrong, breaking your wrist at the end of the year when playoffs coming up sucks. Like mentally, it's tough. Like I'm not going to sit here and say I was happy that I had to deal with a broken
Yeah.
wrist and how can I get through it. It sucks, but I think it's important to take the time to process what's going on, and then, okay, what am I going to do now? And that's where kind of Pete came in, and it was definitely tough. I had met someone out in Vegas that definitely helped me a lot. And when things didn't work out, everything changes, and it just keeps going, and people come into your life for a reason, and leave it for a reason. So like I said, I'm really grateful for not only the Golden Knights, for what the city has given to me as well, and I wish them all the best.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I asked Pete about you, and he wanted me to ask you about like the mastermind, like the mental training that you've done with him, and just like how it's impacted you, and like to help yourself further your career.
Yeah, it's been something I've been doing for a few years now. Just getting on with other goalies like myself in similar situations, and creating kind of a clear picture of what we want. And I remember I was on one with Stuart Skinner, and it was pretty cool because we would play each other quite a bit, and we'd have and then it'd be like, oh, my ask for this week is to beat the Bakersfield Condors and get a shutout, and then his is to beat the Henderson Silly. And it was pretty cool to do. And so just having that friendly competition, and I'm on now with a guy, Zane McIntyre, who's kind of been through like a similar kind of road as I have, not re-signing places. And I had a really good chat with him about this, and just having those not lifelines, but like resources to speak to, and that can understand what you're going through is huge. And I really I'm grateful for Pete for setting this kind of thing up.
Yeah, and like just having like guys that go through the same that or this a similar thing that happened to you, like it just helps with with that support group, and just know that you have that support, and like someone else has been through a similar situation.
Yeah, no, 100%. And Pete is also very good at his job, and he kind of has heard everything. He works with a lot of goalies, and lucky to be able to work with him as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great to hear. And just to end this episode off, I put up a viewer Q&A question, so we have some questions for you. So let's start with those.
Let's do it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So the first one is, if you had one superpower, what would it be and why?
One superpower. Ooh. I want a few.
Go with a few then.
I'd
Whatever you got.
probably, I think like reading minds would be pretty cool. That'd probably
Mastermind.
be, yeah, that would, yeah. That'd be a two-edged sword though. I think flying, being able to fly, and I'll go with invisibility as well.
Yeah, those are three great superpowers to have, especially flying, because you could just literally fly anywhere. And then
Yeah,
invisibility,
it'd be
like
pretty cool.
you can spy on people. You can do like just go around, just sneak around, and just not have anyone know that you're there.
Yeah, imagine flying invisible. That'd be pretty crazy.
That'd be pretty sick. But the next one is, what's your game day routine?
Oh, I don't do much. I keep things consistent. I try to like have the same breakfast. Like I'm one of those guys that, eat the same thing if I'm successful. And um, I go to the rink, get my skate in, set up my gear the way I would. So when I show up to the game later tonight, it's the same way. And then I get home and, I just kind of just relax, be there, the game's coming. Like I'm excited for it, but just kind of, lay in bed, watch a bit of Netflix, YouTube. And I'm not a big nap guy on game days. And yeah, around 2:30, I'll get up and eat, read a book. I like to read on game days. Just feels like it helps me calm my mind. And I like to read like obviously like sport books, like motivational books. And then I do a little journaling before the game about how I want it to go, and show up to the rink and do what I do.
Yeah, that's a great routine. Like everyone has their own routine. It's like whatever works for you works for you. It might not work for another person, but like it's good to hear like all the different routines.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's what makes you feel ready and
Yeah.
positive and gives you the belief in yourself for the game. That's all. Whatever the routine is, doesn't matter. It's whatever makes you feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. The next question is, what's your favorite stick you've had?
Favorite stick. Well, that's a good question. My Bowers are wrapped as a 3S, but it's actually a 1S. I haven't switched out of the 1S for like 4 years, so it might be time for that. I picked up a kid stick and it felt like I was holding a feather the other day, so we'll see about that. And but that's been my favorite stick for sure so far.
Yeah, that's a great answer. And then the next one's like, what's been your favorite save you've ever made, or one that
Oh,
sticks out?
there's a couple. I think the most recent one is in the playoffs in Fort Wayne. There's been a few like cool saves, but I think like timely saves are the ones that are kind of my favorite. And
Yeah,
we were up 2-0 to Wichita at home. The series was tied 2-2. No, I think it was 1-1. Um, and the guy was coming down on a breakaway, and I just remember making like this crazy glove save on a rebound, and the crowd just kind of went crazy. And and then we went down and scored and ended up winning that game 3-0. So that was it's those kind of saves that just kind of, like you're not scoring on me tonight, like that kind of save, and it's like see you tomorrow kind of thing. So it
yeah.
was that was the one that kind of sticks out to me. There was a couple in junior, like diving across, like no one thought you'd get there kind of thing, and I managed to find a way. But that was the one that came up first.
Always great to have to make those saves, but you're also like, I'm very well out of position when you are diving across the crease, and you're like, I should probably be more in control of my body and everything.
Yeah, but you watch the best in the game, and sometimes
Yeah,
those things happen, bounces happen, and it's what you do. And even here, like Eli teaches not much, but like path of direction, which is just diving back towards the post, making yourself as big as you can, and that's the whole point of goaltending.
yeah. That is one of my favorite parts, making that big desperation save at a timely time, and you go down and score. Like it always boosts your confidence when that happens.
100%. It's the way the game goes. I see it all the time.
Absolutely. And then the next one's, what's your favorite food?
Ooh, I got two that are kind of like hand in hand. I'm a big sushi, and I also like dim sum a lot. It's a weird one, but it's so good.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then the final one that I have is what's been your favorite thing to do in Vegas? Like, I'm sure you're going to casinos or something like that. Like, what's there to do in Vegas that like you love doing?
I think it's the shows, to be honest, just getting the opportunity. It's having connections. Like I got to go to a couple of Raiders games right behind the touchdown for like a couple $100. And it was it's getting the opportunities like that where it just makes you feel grateful for where you are. And yeah, like you're in Vegas, you're gonna go to a casino every now and then. And that can be fun, it cannot be fun. So I try to, I stayed away from there and obviously joined the boys a couple nights, but for me it was just the shows and the atmosphere of the whole city.
Yeah, that's awesome because Vegas is it's different. Like you don't get that anywhere else. So it's good to get those experiences that you don't in like in any other place in the country.
100%.
Yeah, but Dylan, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time, and I wish you the best of luck going forward. And I look forward to following your career the rest of the way.
100%, man. Really appreciate you having me, and good luck to you as well.
Thank you.